Well, hello everybody. I meant to put a video up sooner than this. I got a little busy around the house and stuff, so sorry. I'm trying to get 2 a week up. Maybe I'll try to do it on certain days, but I've said that before, and then, well, life happens. I'm sure you all understand. Just starting in this back left corner, that's right next to the big barn there, trying to clean that up. Those 3 trees you see right there, those are coming down eventually. He wants to get rid of them, but I'm just trying to get all the branches that I can right now. And then right here, and I think I said it on the screen, I'm just trying to clean up behind these storage buildings. It was a pretty good mess back. Well, you couldn't walk back there before. I'm sure you remember. But I know the neighbors behind are thrilled. Toward the end of the video, I'm actually talking to the woman that lives right directly behind these folks, and we had a nice conversation. She had her dogs out there. So anyway, so yeah, I'm just trying to get some stuff ready for Chip. Got a lot of limbs down, and then there's going to be a lot of small sticks and stuff out there. But I'll deal with that later. But I guess get the main stuff now. It's plus these vines. You'll see these vines right on the left there. They are really caught up in this tree. You'll see later in the video that there's 3 cedar trees. They're all leaning right towards this white metal shed. Apparently they had a storm some years ago that kind of, blew everything that way. So excuse me, had to stop it to sneeze. It's hay fever season for me. Everything here is green and yellow from all the pollen. It just it's pretty nasty. And then it rained last night and today, so all the puddles are all the edges are green with pollen. And I have hay fever, but no big deal. So anyway, like I said, I'm just trying to gather up some stuff for the chipper and let him eat away here after a while. Not today, but next video. And trying to get a lot of these smaller ones cut down. But I started to say those vines to the left there, they're caught up in those cedar trees. And the cedar trees, you'll be able to see, are all kind of bent, toward that white metal garage there. And like I said, apparently there was a storm or some high winds some time ago that took a lot of those trees and pushed them that way. 1 or 2 of them may have to come down. They're not looking real healthy, let's put it that way. So anyway, I don't know, he's got this plastic storage thing out here. Boy, he's got a lot of storage. And it's really nothing in it but empty, like, coolers and stuff like that. So I think when they used to foster dogs, he had a lot of feed and equipment and stuff like that, him and his wife. And behind here, there's a lot of pieces that look like small kennels and stuff like that, so I'm assuming it's all from when they used to foster dogs. And anyway, you'll see me picking some of that stuff out of the grass, but that limb right there was hanging over, and I for some reason or other I didn't film cutting that down. It was hanging over the shed there, but I missed that. So but anyway, let's get some of this cleaned up back here, and then I'll come back and talk to you more when we move on to a different area. All right, there's those vines that I was talking about right there. There's a group of them. They're actually all cut off at the base, or the majority of them are. But they're up in that tree, and they're pretty thick, as you can see, a lot of them. It's going to take a lot to pull them out. I'm going to take another look at it once I get some stuff cleared away, whether I need to take that tree down or just try to get these vines out. If I just want to get the vines out, I have an idea to take a nice cargo strap and just bundle these things up and tighten them up real good, and then use my my hand winch, or come along they call it, tie the other end off to a tree behind us here, and then just kind of slowly yank those things out of that tree. But the tree that they're in, I think its lifespan is probably just about over. It's a lot of the roots are popping up from where it's bent over, and a lot of the lower limbs have died off. So I'll have to look at it again later and see. Right now I want to get everything cleared that I can and chipped up and out of the way. I'm not fanatical, but I like to have things done orderly, and get one area cleaned up as best I can. And I mean, I know I've been bouncing around a little bit. I've actually done some work in the front and the left side of the driveway in the interim here, but I like to have everything kind of neat. Especially, you can see me walking around. I weeble wobble as it is, but with all these limbs and vines laying on the ground, it's I mean, for anybody, it's just not treacherous, but it's you can trip fairly easy. So I have to really be careful. So I like to get areas cleaned up and neatened up, and then move on to a different area. But this video here is all about getting limbs cut down, and we'll move out excuse me, into the back of the fence here in a little bit, once I get some of this stuff out of the way. Had a couple comments about let's see, oh yeah, the roof of this one. I am going to clean that off as best I can and get a ladder up behind here, either my blower and my rake or whatever, and get a lot of that crap off the top. I had another viewer ask about the front porch. There's a lot of stuff piled up there still. I've got to get with the family and see what they want to keep and what they want to throw away. I have a pretty good idea that most of it, except for the bench and stuff, will be thrown away. So I got to make another run to the dump. I've got some stuff at my house I got to bring. So I told Stephanie if she needed to put a few things out there, I'd gather those up. They had to have a toilet replaced in the house, so I'll bring that to the dump too. I have tried unsuccessfully to get both mowers started. The oldest one was just seized up. The second one, it wasn't seized up, but once I took took it apart a little bit, it threw a rod, I guess is what they say, the crankshaft or whatever. I'm not a super good small engine mechanic, but it's broken at any rate, and it'd take a few $100 to try to fix it up. So, Don just told me, he said, you can have them, do whatever you want. So I'll just send it over to the scrapyard. I guess that's about all I can do. I was going to try to fix it up, but anyway, that's not going to work. So I did try. I tinkered with it and took it apart and stuff like that. So I'll get rid of that. There's still some things on that trailer right there that need to go to the either the scrapyard or the dump. Obviously, the green metal table and chairs are staying. Those are good. I had one viewer, and he's absolutely right. I think it was a he. They said that when you're going to get rid of that tire rim, that thing's been in every video, it seems like. And he's right. And I went over there the other day, and I looked at it leaning up against the house, and I said, I'm going to move that thing one of these days. So whoever made that comment, rest assured I'll get rid of it. It is kind of an eyesore. But anyway. But I'll tell you, getting the side of this building cleaned up last week was a big feat, and then getting that trailer moved, that was a good thing. So I'll get that out of there. Some of the grass is starting to pop in the backyard here. I've actually got to go over there and mow a little bit and weed eat a little bit around the edges and stuff like that, especially over on the right side near the house. the vines or the ground ivy is starting to come up. Those are vines. So I need to get over there and skin that right down real good so it doesn't get out of control. But along that fence on the left side, the grass is starting to come up, and then right in the middle where I, from the gate to the barn there, where I cleared that area real nice and spread out some chips, it's you can see the grass trying to pop through. So that's a good thing. The front, not too much just yet. It's got clumps, but nothing. Not a lot of coverage out there, but it should come. So anyway, this project has gone on, and I know that I read one of Sean from Blade Mate down in Australia. Sean's a great guy. Him and I talk via the internet, often. And I was looking at one of his videos, and I went to post a comment, and somebody said he was doing a 2 or 3 part video. And I'm sure it wasn't a 2 or 3 part like mine, where it ends up being 200 or 300 parts. It was a 2-part. And somebody made a comment. It sounded a little bit like they were complaining, but I don't know. But anyway, they were saying, what is this 2-part thing? We just want to see it all get done, and that's it. Move on. Well, I said to Sean, I don't know who that viewer is, but they certainly wouldn't like my channel if they watched my 2 or 3 part series, because it's been going on for almost 6 months now. And then I told Sean, I said, but you know what? At 70 years old, I do what I can. And he goes, I hope I can do what you're doing at 40. So, but anyway, my point to all this is that there's a lot of little things that I do in between that I've got some footage that I'll put up one day, but like going over there and getting on my hands and knees and cutting some of those little stumps in the front yard, because when I try to mow with my old mower, the black and yellow one there, Polly, it keeps hitting the deck. Like I said, I made a mistake of not cutting those down low enough. So I've got footage of doing that. I've got some footage of weed eating around different places. There's a lot of little things that need to be done. And I say need to be done. It's things that I would do if this were my property. If I owned it, it's what I would do to keep it cleaned up. So all this big stuff, like getting rid of all the branches and the brush and the trees and everything, this stuff is great. But in between, there is little stuff to do. I've got a few videos of raking up a bunch of these sticks and piling them up and throwing them on a top in my trailer to bring them to the landfill. Some of these sticks, they may be a 1/2 inch to 1 inch around, and, they may be 12 inches or 14 inches long, and it's pretty hard to mulch stuff like that up. So I've kind of made piles and picked it up to get it out of the way, and, I don't care about small twigs and stuff like that. Those eventually will just decompose and become part of the earth, but, the bigger ones I need to get rid of, so... I've done a lot of little stuff like that. And there's still a lot of little things that need to be done. I had a viewer... Well, I had two comments about the magnolia trees. One was about magnolia trees. Most people like to let them grow right down to the ground, the branches to the ground, because cutting under them with those leaves and that fall off them are really tough on mowers. So that was one point of view. Another point of view that somebody had said that you probably need to limit up at least one more limb so that when you're riding under it, you don't take your eye out. So I think I'll opt for bringing it up one more limb. That way, they're going under them will, won't be so hazardous. Number one. Number two, I think this property has seen enough of its ground cover for a few years, so we can open it up and let it breathe. And I also had somebody say that there's probably too many trees out in the front. There's some little scraggly trees that they're not growing that I will cut down. And there's a cedar tree back in the corner by where the AC unit is. That needs to be limbed up a little more. And then that one right by the fence back by the AC unit that I talked about earlier that has got a lot of vines on it. That's probably got to come down. So there's a lot of little things to do. There's always something around the yard, and it's stuff that I would do if this were my property. So, I could go in there and just like clear these limbs out and cut them down and say, okay, see you later, it looks good. But once you start a project like this, it'd be nice to finish it and give them a nice yard, a nice clean lawn and property, and go from there rather than just go in there and kind of do half the job and then leave. But again, I'm in no rush. I've talked to Don and Stephanie several times, and they're in no rush. I don't bother them. I don't go over there every single day. I don't get over there at 6 in the morning and fire up chippers and mowers and chainsaws. I do it, 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, which is enough because I still have my yard to do, and I've taken on a few regular lawn cutting jobs here in the neighborhood for some people that just can't do it anymore. So I have other things going on too. So I make it over here 2, 3 times a week. Usually just twice. If I go 2 days in a row over here and do this stuff for 3 hours like I'm doing now, that's a good workout for me. That's enough, I don't claim to be a beast or the world's strongest man. So, a couple 3 hours of this stuff is that's enough work. Let's see. There was one other thing that I wanted to address, and it fails me now. I'll think of it. Anyway, I like getting toward the back corner, getting toward the meat of where the majority of the branches were down. Anyway, you can see those trees. You see how they're leaning just over my left shoulder there. Those trees are really leaning toward that white building. So I've got to look at that and see if they're going to come down. These trees right in front of me, these branches right in front of me, you can see how they're leaning. So they must have had quite a storm at one point that blew this stuff over. So, I don't want to strip the land completely. I want to leave them some cover and shade, but at the same time, I don't want to leave trees that are going to fall over or trees that are dying out. There's no sense in doing that. Take them down, Later on, if somebody wants to plant another new tree, fine. But, for the time being, I'm going to take them down. Oh, I know what it was. As I'm using this pole saw, one viewer said, geez, don't you have a regular chainsaw that you can use to get that stuff done? You're using that little pole saw. It seems like a lot of work. Actually, the pole saw is a lot easier for me because of my shoulders. And I'm not complaining, but because of my shoulders being, there's no muscle left in my shoulders, basically. And getting in there and holding a regular chainsaw as opposed to this thing, I can kind of, balance this thing with 2 hands and put it on my hip, and it's a lot easier for me to use this pole saw, number one. Number two, I'm not cutting anything real big right now. This thing's 10 inches long. It'll cut big stuff, but as you can see, if I had a regular chainsaw, I'd be cutting a few in the ground, and then I'd have to put that down and then grab this one and get the limbs up above. And so anyway, that's why I opt to use this unless I'm going to be, cutting up some logs or something. Then I'll use my big saw. But it is a lot easier for me. It's a lot easier on my shoulders to use this thing. Besides, I like this pole saw. It's a really neat tool. So anyway, I'll bow out again and come back, and we'll discuss some more things that's going on here, and talk a little bit about that deck here in just a minute, and then we'll go from there. All right, getting back to the deck, I really want to get most of the work done out back here before I, dive into the deck. I've kind of measured and taken a look at what it might need and priced it out, and it's not going to be cheap. But I haven't talked with Don about it yet. I will, and I want to see what he wants to do. I don't. I'm not going to charge him anything for any of this. That's not what I do. You people know that. I'm not pocketing any money other than what I make on YouTube, and you see where that money goes. The chipper and the brush hog, and I bought this pole saw just before I started, and things like that. And of course, I got another truck. I'll tell you about the truck real quick. All the years not growing up, but all the years early marriage and in the Air Force and stuff, Jocelyn and I always had junk cars. I think I might have told this story before. Not really junk, but we just, get cheap cars, and they'd always break down, and you get that sick feeling in your stomach when your cars broke down, and you get a call for rides or try to get some money together to fix it and things like that. Well, the white truck was parked right where my truck is parked now, and I got finished one day, and I went to start it, and it wouldn't start. And I had that sick feeling in my stomach just, from like years ago, like I don't want to go through this at this stage of my life. And that's when I eventually did start, and that's when I came home and told Jocelyn about it, and she kind of rolled her eyes and said, "I told you." She said, "Go get the truck that you need. Get a good truck. We've been through the old trucks, fixing them up and stuff." So anyway, but so that's why I got that, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that before. But as far as the deck goes, it's not going to be cheap to fix it, to replace it, and I just don't know as I want to lay out the money myself for that. I'm not soliciting from anybody, although I've had, literally hundreds of people say that they want to donate. But that I'm going to talk about that with Don and the family. But rest assured, I'm not gonna take any money. I'm not gonna handle any money from anybody if that comes to fruition, the donating for the deck. I'm not. It's not gonna come to me. It's not gonna. It'll be directly donations to him for the deck. But before I go any further, I haven't talked to him about this, so I don't want to jump the gun. And, the only thing that I want to know if we do this is I want people to keep me aware of, if they send money, how much they send and things like that. I want to know what's going on, because I don't want to get caught up in, a money thing. I just don't want to do that. If I thought it was going to cause problems or it was going to cause an issue, I'd just go ahead and put the money out myself. But I really don't want to put the whole thing out. I mean, I may split it with them. Let's put it that way. But Jocelyn said, look, you've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. I don't think you really want to, use the money to do the deck. But we're going to fix it up at any rate. I'm not going to leave it like it is. That's for sure. So I will talk more about that. I'll talk with Don and Stephanie about it and see where they're at. I'm also going to reach out to the big box stores, because our big box store in town here, they're really big on veterans. So I'm going to reach out and see if some companies want to donate some resources for it before I do anything about taking any money from viewers. I really don't want to do that. I don't want to get into that. I never have, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to have a Patreon page, and I'm not saying that those things are bad. It's just not what I need to do right now. Everything that I'm doing right now, I can take care of myself. But when it comes to redoing it, especially with the prices of lumber now, I just don't know if I want to lay out that kind of money all at one time. So I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. I just, I don't want money to be an issue in this whole thing. And I am not soliciting any for donations or anything. I would rather reach out to some companies, and we have a veteran center in town here. We have a senior citizen center in town. We have, the big box stores and lumberyard, and I'm going to reach out to those folks and see if there's some resources available to help people like this. That would be the best thing for me and for everybody. So for all of you that have adamantly said that you want to send money or you want to donate or help out, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and I'm sure Don and his daughter do. But that's not why I started a YouTube channel. It's not a business, so to speak, to me. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy this work. Trust me, I enjoy it. Yeah, I get tired and all that, but I do enjoy it very much. So I'll leave that lie right where it is right now, and I will keep you folks posted and abreast of what's going on. But know that I thank you all very much for the generosity and the kindness and all that stuff. I'd love to. Somebody said let's have a meet and greet. I'd love to maybe have people that live relatively close by. Come down here for 2 or 3 hours and just work with me. That'd be great. But those things are kind of hard to put together because I never know when I'm coming over from week to week. I usually take a look at what I'm doing around the house and other things, and then I, decide on Saturday or Sunday what days I'll get over here and try to keep Don and Stephanie abreast of that. So, but anyway, thank you all so much, and I do appreciate it. Your generosity is not going unnoticed at all. It's amazing how people want to reach out, but I think that there's resources available from corporations and businesses and organizations that do this kind of stuff. So we'll look into that some more, and I'll let you know. You could see that larger trunk that I cut down. That's pretty good size. I'm just cutting the limbs off it. But I'll take that trunk and cut it up with my regular saw whenever I get all the smaller limbs out of there. Boy, Chip's going to be busy, isn't he? These piles here, and then off behind to the left there's some piles that I've had there for a couple weeks, and so over on the other side of that barn and behind the barn is a few piles of limbs. So Chip's going to be busy. That's a good thing. And you'll see later in the video here, I have a conversation with the neighbor behind us here, and she mentioned that, I think I told you this in the last video, that her husband burns chips. So I'll probably give them some. But at any rate, I'm getting close to finishing up for the day here. I got a few more things to do, but I'm going to bow out here just for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and talk to you just before the end of the video. excuse me, you can probably see a lot of these limbs are brittle and just, you know, dying out, and there's no sense keeping all that stuff. This tree right here should be able to stay. It's not leaning too badly. I get the vines and stuff off it, but you know, all the dead limbs and stuff like that just doesn't help it at all. It's a cedar tree. You know, I mean, cedar trees typically they don't, you know, they don't drop their leaves or foliage. They stay green. So if you see a cedar tree that has bare limbs like that, a good chance it's gone. This is a mess over in here. That most of that right there, right in front of me, is going to come out, and then you can see those other ones with all the vines. I'll have to see. But I'm working in here right now, and I do believe it's where both me and the chainsaw ran out of gas today. I think I'd been here about, I don't know, 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and you know, I was getting tired. So if I start feeling tired or feel like it's, you know, too much, I quit, because that's when accidents happen. Watch this. That looked closer than it was. It wasn't bad at all. But I do believe this is where the both, like I said, both me and the saw ran out of gas. So, but that's the back left corner. So we're sneaking up on getting a lot of the big stuff out. You know, Chip has got a lot of work to do, and I've yet to go back and see the neighbors to see if they actually want some chips. I said I'd set the chipper up and just shoot them over into their yard, but she didn't know if that's what he wanted or something. So I'll see them before I get started. If not, I'm gonna chip them into my trailer and, you know, bring some back out front like I did earlier on the shrubs in the left side of the driveway. All these cedar limbs that I'm cutting down, those are good wood chips. You know, cedar is typically the best to be like up against a house or a building or something. They seem to you know, repel bugs best. Anyway, here's a little walk around I'm doing, and I'm going to sign off now, folks, because I'm going to have a conversation with the neighbor. So I'll let you listen into that. But thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.
Well, hi there. Hi there. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Hello? Can I bring them a dog biscuit next time? Can I bring them a dog biscuit? Okay, I'll bring it next time I'll bring one. All right. Come here. What's the matter? What's the matter? I talked with Tim over here, and he said I could give his dog a biscuit too. I'll check with what's his name over here?
Eddie, are you chopping the wood?
I'm doing everything. I've done everything. Did you see the front? Did you see the front yard? Drive by the front someday.
If you want to get rid of it, just go ahead, will you?
What's that?
He said if you want to get rid of the wood,
Yeah?
chips that he burned.
The wood chips or the... Really? Oh, I can give you all the wood chips you want.
Couldn't buy.
Huh?
Put over there.
Okay.
One place.
I'll try to chip some in here. I'll bring my chipper right down here and just chip them right over there. How's that?
I'll see if he wants to take.
Okay. I'll be back. I won't be back till Friday, but
Get over there.
I'll bring him a biscuit next time I come. Make friends with him.
That was the neighbor lady behind. I didn't want to film her. Obviously, I don't point the camera at people unless I talk to them. So I didn't film her or dogs. But I'll go back and see them and see what they want to do with these chips. So anyway, have a great day, folks. I'll see you again soon.